Week 12 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few prospects I look to watch this week. The first prospect, Max Meyer of the Miami Marlins. So Meyer, he had a cup of coffee early in the season, but the Marlins sent him back down to the minor leagues to monitor his innings, and he was pitching well in a small sample size. 17 innings, 2-0 record, 14 Ks on the season, 2.12 ERA, 0.82 whip, and 2 quality starts. So right now out there in tons of leagues, it's 73%. And this small in rotation has been a revolving door with injuries and just struggling pitchers all season. I know they're the worst team in the National League. And Meyer, he should be up the next round through the rotation or in a couple weeks because, like I said, they're dealing with injuries is Miami. Skip Shoemaker said Meyer will be up sooner than later. And I know in the minor leagues it's been a struggling season for him, but he possibly was just looking forward to pitching in the majors. So in the minors this year, 0-3 record in AAA, 6.46 ERA, 9 games started, 30 2/3, 30 strikeouts, a 1.57 whip. So his control has been a problem in the minor leagues for Meyer. But like I said, he's ready for the major leagues. And in the small sample size we saw from the 25-year-old Meyer, he pitched well for this Marlin team. And he's the number one prospect and the 81st prospect overall in Major League Baseball. So Meyer might be up in the majors sooner than later. He's a prospect to watch and stash this week. The next prospect, Noelvi Marte of the Cincinnati Reds. He's going to be up by next week now as Marte after his suspension is over, 80 games for PED. So Marte, so far, it's been struggling a small sample size in AAA for the Cincinnati Red team. No home runs, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, 27 at-bats, a 222 average, 222 on base, and a 481 OPS. So Marte last season, he came up in the major leagues for a little bit, and he's available right now in 75% of fantasy leagues, where I definitely think he can help fantasy owners. I mentioned him last week on the Prospect Report, and I mentioned him on the waiver wire for Hit His Dad. And last season, in 114 at-bats, 3 homers, 15 RBIs, 15 runs scored, 6 stolen bases, a 316 average, and a 366 on base. So like I said, Marte, he's one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball, 28th overall, and one of the top prospects in the Cincinnati Red organization. I know the PEDs obviously could have helped him over the last couple seasons to fast track into the major leagues, but it will take a wait-and-see approach with Marte. But definitely someone to keep on the radar in this Red team. They know they need some offense in that lineup, and with Marte coming back next week, he's definitely a guy I would go out there and get on my roster now, even if it's not starting him, to see what he could do on your bench, because he's going to fit right in to that third base role most likely for the Cincinnati Red team, because like I said, they need offense, and they've been waiting on him now the whole year, the first half of the season. So Marte, definitely someone to keep an eye on. The next prospect, Landon Knack of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Knack, he's had some spot starts and small sample sizes in the major league so far, and there's a possibility he might come up for tomorrow's game where the Dodgers need a starter. So in the season, 20 1/3, 1-1 record in the majors, 16 Ks, a 2.61 ERA, 0.97 whip, and a quality start, available 97% of fantasy leagues. He's the number 12 prospect in the Dodger system that still is loaded, is this Dodger minor league system, even though we've seen them make some big trades over the last few seasons. But like I said, this Dodger team, they know how to get this minor league system going. They have tons of guys down there, obviously still ready to go, even with a stacked major league roster with pretty much all-stars all over the place. But Landon Knack, like I said, he could be pitching here tomorrow for this Los Angeles Dodger team, where they need a starter in the rotation with Yamamoto down. So on the season in the minors, 9 games started, 3-2 record, a 3.54 ERA, 48 1/3, a 1.20 whip in AAA with 52 strikeouts. And Knack's pitching well in AAA. Now if he comes up to the Dodgers, obviously you slot him in the rotation. Bobby Miller has returned as well. I know Knack isn't a big-time prospect, already 26 years old, but definitely someone who could help this Dodger team as a back-end 5th to 6th rotation guy if they go with the 6-man and continue to go. So with Knack possibly coming up for tomorrow's game for this Dodger team, number 12 prospect and available in 97% of fantasy league. Next prospect, David Festa of the Minnesota Twins. So David Festa, he's available in 99% of fantasy leagues. This Twin team, they might have some questionable spots in the rotation. Woods Richardson, he's been up and down for the most part, even though he's coming out of nowhere this season for the Minnesota Twins. And also Bailey Ober, for the most part, he's been batting practice this season. Festa, the 100th prospect ranked in Major League Baseball in the season, 2-2 record, 3.50 ERA, 13 games started, 54 innings, 81 Ks, and 1.31 WHIP. So Festa, for the most part, has been dominating, especially his K rate to have the 81 Ks in 54 innings. He's 24 years old, and he's already in AAA for this Minnesota Twin team, where he's just waiting for the call. Like I said, the two spots that could open up, obviously, is Wood Richardson for long term in the rotation if he struggles, or Bailey Ober, where his ERA is ballooned up over the last few weeks. So right now, David Festa, definitely someone to keep an eye on. And like I said, he's been pitching well in the minor league system for this Minnesota Twin team. And the fifth and final prospect, Brett Lauder of the Cincinnati Reds. So Brett Lauder, another prospect on this list from Cincinnati. And I think he's going to be up sooner than later as well, because this rotation, it's just been problems for the most part with injuries or guys not contributing. Graham Ashcraft, we saw him get sent down to the minors. Ayer took his spot. He didn't do much in his first start. And Lauder, I know his numbers haven't been all that great in the minor leagues, and he's in Double-A for this Red team, but 2-3 on the year, 4.64 ERA, 12 games started, 54 and a third, 60 Ks, a 1.29 WHIP. So this Red team, I think they want to go with the youth movement. We've seen it with a bunch of players over the last couple seasons. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, De La Cruz, obviously Matt McLain last season, but he's been injured all of this year. Marte, he's going to come up as well. Even Christian Encarnacion Strand, even though he's been injured majority of the season. But anyway, like I said, this Cincinnati Red team, they're not worried about calling these prospects up and hoping they can contribute. So right now, Lauder, number 23 prospect in all Major League Baseball, out there in 99% of fantasy leagues. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if he's up in the majors within the next few weeks to a month here. Like I said, with the back end of the rotation being an issue, and Lodolo in and out of the rotation with injuries and IL stints over the last year and a half. So that's a few prospects I look to watch and possibly stash for over the fantasy baseball season.